Hi friends, welcome back. I hope that you're all doing fabulously. Today I thought I would take some time to show you the middle of a painting. So I've done the base coats, I've got my basic idea down on the canvas, and it is nowhere near done. In fact, I worked on the section that I'm going to show you today, and I thought that it was done, and then I came back in my office and I looked at it and I don't like it. So I'm going to set up the camera and I'm going to show you exactly how I'm going to fix everything. I will probably just do voiceover on it because that's honestly been a lot easier to manage. My neighbors have been very noisy, so a lot of times I have to record everything separately. So I'll do some voiceover on it and tell you what was going through my mind while I was painting it, and we'll discuss kind of the future for this piece and why it's going to take me so long and kind of why I'm being so meticulous on this one. If you remember last time we painted that dragon, this is the painting that the dragon is intended to go on. So if that tells you anything on it, anything about it at all, it'll kind of tell you exactly how much detail and how important this particular piece is to me. So we'll be spending a little bit of time, basically until my camera battery runs out, working on this painting together, and I hope that you enjoy it. I think this one's going to be a lot of fun in the end, and I recognize I haven't really showed you guys a lot of the in the middle phases of working on a painting, so I thought this would be really fun to kind of just show you that there is a stage where it just kind of looks like garbage. It doesn't really look good. There's parts of it that are like, oh hey, there's something pretty in there, but this is nowhere near done. And even when this video is finished, this painting is still going to be nowhere near done. When it is done, I promise I will show you. But for now, let's work on the middle. I'll show you kind of what my process is and talk to you a little bit about what my plan is for the painting in general. And yeah, we'll hang out, have some fun, spend some time together. I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you. So like I said, I had already gone in and added a bunch of the shading for what I thought I was gonna like for this piece, and then I kind of sat back and looked at it for a couple of days and decided that the shading wasn't quite right and it was making the angle a little bit off. So I decided to come back in and just redo everything that I had shaded. So what this is supposed to look like is a ravine. So this angle should be you from the bottom of the ravine kind of looking up. So all of these mountains should kind of be at a harsh angle. And when I had originally painted them, they were a very soft angle, which is kind of what I'm used to painting with mountains. So this was definitely a challenge, but when I really sat down to do it, it came out pretty smoothly. I was pretty pleased with it. My hope is that this piece will really solidify my ability to do different angles on mountains and rocks in general. It is a thing that I tend to paint a lot of anyway, so I really want to do some pieces that are kind of building my repertoire, but are also just kind of me doing a little bit of training for pieces that I really enjoy painting. So I have this idea of this painting featuring that dragon that we painted a couple weeks ago, and featuring her nest, and probably still featuring one of my foxes. So this is going to be kind of a big piece for the series that I'm working on, because this will be introducing the dragon to the series. So I want to make sure that I really get this right, which is why I'm taking the time to just redo it. Just come back in and redo the lines and make it more what I had in my head when I was working on this originally. I already have the sky done, and I'm actually really pleased with the colors I got there, so I'm not going to touch that. I will have to redo my edges a little bit as I go, but I'm not going to have to touch the sky. And I am working from the farthest back toward the closest. So this is like the way background. that I'm working on here. And this is as far as we're going to get today. I'm going to get as far as getting these two really far back mountains shaded. That's basically all that we're going to get through today. And I just really wanted to show you guys some of the process and some of how you can have a thing that you think looks good, and then you look at it a couple of days later when you have more time and you think, no, I mean, it looks fine, but it's not the vision and it's not what I wanted, and I can do better than that. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with taking the time to come back in and refine your piece and make it exactly what you wanted it to be. And like I said, this one's going to be a really big kind of focal piece for the series. So I want to make sure that I get everything right and that I am at least 85% happy with everything that ends up in the finished pieces. I say 85 because I don't think that any artist is really ever 100% satisfied with any piece that they do. I think there's always that part that you're just looking at and going, I could have done that better. But honestly, I think that's fine. And I think that makes us human. There's always some stuff that we wish we could change, but just the fact that we can eventually put our signature on it and say, this is as good as I'm going to get it, and it is quote unquote finished, which this one is, again, nowhere near. This just putting in the shading for these couple of mountains that we're doing for this video probably took me about 40 minutes, and that was when my camera battery died. But again, my goal with this piece is just refining and just getting all of these rocks and all of these shapes and all of these hills to look like they are in my head, because that has been, especially with a lot of my mountain pieces, kind of the notorious thing that never gets quite like I wanted it. So I'm taking my time with this one. I am going to be working on a couple of different pieces at a time here. If you guys do enjoy seeing like the step-by-step like this, I am more than happy to do a few more time-lapse videos to show you my progress with this one. But for now, honestly, what happened was I had a headache and over like the whole weekend. And this was the only video that I could think of that I could do that wasn't going to just break my brain. So I'm finally feeling better today and sitting down to record just this quick little time-lapse video. And honestly, I love doing these. I have really enjoyed doing the time-lapse videos. Like I said in my intro, I have had a harder time being able to record audio while I'm painting or while I'm working on something. My house is not particularly quiet. A lot of my neighbors will drive by really quickly, or my next door neighbors have children and they like to play outside. And there's nothing wrong with that, but they're a little noisy and not really the chill vibe that we're going for. So I try to record my audio in the middle of the night and then record my video during the day when there's lighting. And that seems to work for me. I hope that you guys are okay with that too. This left side of the canvas was definitely more difficult for me to shade than the right side. I absolutely love the way the right side turned out. The left, I think it's just because I'm right-handed. The left side is always a little bit more of a challenge because I was getting like the exact right angle that I wanted with my brush for the right. And then moving to the left, I was like, I'm not left-handed. I don't know how to get these same angles with this hand. So that was very much a challenge. And I'm trying to remember too that there are going to be some sections of the mountain that really won't get much shading at all, because from this vantage point there wouldn't be much light hitting them. So it makes sense for there to not be a grandiose amount of shading and lighting and detail hitting some sections of these mountains. But I do like having that, at least that little bit of detail that's like, hey, some light is getting into this ravine and some things are being highlighted by the sun. So you are seeing the detail in the mountain just not necessarily as much as you would see on the right, which is the side that would be getting a little bit more sunlight than the left. So that was kind of fun, just kind of poking around at my canvas and going, I am not left-handed. Princess Bride reference for anyone who may care to enjoy that. It is very much a challenge, though, to try to get the exact same stroke with the left hand, or with the left-hand side versus the right-hand side. The right is always just easier because I am very, very, very right-hand dominant. I keep trying to teach my left hand how to do things, and my recurring joke is that my left hand is just here for aesthetic purposes and is not of much use in the long run. She's there for pretty. She doesn't know how to do much, but she's got the tattoos and she's real cute. I do think that the left side is coming out pretty well. I will probably end up going in and adding more detail than what I had time to do in this video. But for the most part, I do really like it. I had a lot of fun just mixing colors for these couple of mountains. I mixed all of these from a couple of different greens, a couple of different yellows, a white, a couple of browns, just to get a really fun mix of tones. And it came out really nice. I think it kind of speaks to the level of light that would be coming in and is very natural in its shape, which again was what I was going for. I have a tendency to make my lines be very symmetrical, so that's a thing that we're working on. But yeah, I think it's coming along pretty well, and this is as far as you're going to get to see.